as you can hear, we are at an event. We're celebrating a friend's birthday, and I have some great news that we are on number 2, and we are talking about life-work balance and reflecting on career transitioning. So I'm going to move to a quieter space so then we can have a chat. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Hi everybody, it's Shirley Farrar. It's much quieter now. I am actually in a different setting. I thought this was more appropriate. This is our podcast number 92. And we are moving through the transitioning of our career, right? And we are reflecting. That is the most important part of this series, is reflection. Nothing has changed on the life-work balance. So keep that in mind. We want to make sure we have a good mental health. We want to make sure that we are eating properly. We want to make sure that our spiritual self is in the right place based on our own value system. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the prior podcast, number 91, I talked to you about identifying your dissatisfaction of where you are, whether that is in your job, whether that is in working in the community, things that you said you were one day going to do and you still have not done. And then evaluating achievements. What are the achievements that you have acquired throughout your entire lifetime? Some of you more, some of you less. Some of you more out and open, some of you in a quiet setting, right? So some of you may say, my achievements are my children, right? Well, no one else may think that, but you do. And that's what's most valuable about it, right? And to others, it may be more of the things that their peers have given unto them. It doesn't matter. How are you affected in all of this? That is the most important thing. So today we are talking about number 2, clarifying the values and interests. That is the 2 things that I'm going to propose to you today. So every time we get together, you're probably going to get 1 or 2 assignments like you did last time. So this one, I want you to clarify your values and I want you to clarify your interests. So let's talk about it first, okay? All right, so you're going to get that piece of paper out, that little piece of paper, okay? And we are going to reflect on the things that matter to us in our value system. Now, where do values come from? For everyone, that is totally different. So I'm just going to go through some different things. However, it may be even more different for you. So wherever your value system comes from, I want you to think about it and make sure it's something that you want to solidify moving forward. Maybe there's some things about your value system I want to change. I don't want that to be my value system anymore because it doesn't suit me. It suited someone else. Maybe you were dating, or it suited someone else. That was my parents' value system. But what is your value system? Every single one of us has a value system, and it's based on something. So let's identify where our values come from, okay? So the first thing I would say to you is, if you're a faith-based person like me, my value system comes from my relationship with God, okay? So it comes from the foundation of the Bible, and that's in the book of Genesis. The first few chapters, we talk about, it talks about how the earth was formed, and it also talks about how man was formed. And how was man formed? Man was formed in the image and likeness of God. So where do our value system come from? If I've been made in the image and likeness of God, it should be based on the image and likeness of God. And how do I find that out? How do I find that out? By the Bible. By the Bible. The Bible, and if you are an old Christian, meaning someone who's been around for a while, or maybe even a new Christian, and someone stated this, what is the Bible? The Bible is what? Biblical instruction before leaving earth. That is what we have been taught, and I believe it. It's how I live in this life, and sometimes I'm successful, and sometimes I'm not. And guess what? That's okay too. Because every day that you're giving another breath of life, you get up and you try again, right? And because God sent Jesus and we are forgiven, we can then get up and begin again. All right. So that's where my value system comes from. And I'm hoping that there's some others that may share that value system. If you do, put it in the chat. Send me an email. Okay. But we also have value systems that come from other places. All right. So you may not share my faith, but you may have a different faith. And that's where your value system comes from. And also, guess what? Our parents. Some parents aren't spiritual, but they still have a value system of good and bad, right and wrong, what we do, right? And so some of that is still ringing in your head. Think about it. It's just ringing in your head. It doesn't have to be faith-based, but it's something you've been taught from the time you were under the age of 5. It's what you were exposed to. And that's where your value system is coming from. And like I said, doesn't mean you have to accept it, but it may be a challenge to change it. Are you willing to do that? If that's something that's just not settling with you, and you have to, that's something between you, okay? I honestly, trust me, I've had my challenges of my value system based on my faith and based on what my parents have taught me over the years. And guess what? There came a point that I had to decide on paper, what was it that was going to ring true for me, and what was going to be what someone taught me, okay? And once I came to a realization of that, I'm much more happier and I'm able to move forward, okay? And do what I need to do. And every decision that I make, my value system is key in the decision-making process. So I hope that's going to help you. And also, it needs to be very meaningful to you. You're never going to do anything, or you're never going to put a lot of effort to anything unless it means something to you. So your values have to mean something to you. Mine means something to me. You know, it's rooted in my belief, in my parents' belief. It's rooted in my community's belief, right? So all those things matter. And then also your value system, finances. What does that mean to you? You know, there's some people that live off the grid. They don't need all the things that a lot of us need. And that's good. That's okay for them. There's some people that, well, they have to have it all. And that's good. That's okay for them. But then there's some that are somewhere in between, like me, somewhere in between. That, you know what? I can do with, or I can do without. It's okay. Because my foundation of my value system lies with my faith. So and I'm telling you, all of these things, finances and everything, are they important? Yes. But if it's not the core of your value system, and your faith is, no matter what you go through in life, and this is just my example for you, no matter what you go through in life, your core value system of your faith, your spirituality, of who you are, and like me, who I am in God, that is the most important thing. My relationship with Him, not what people think about my faith is in God. It's my relationship with God. Okay? It's like your relationships. It doesn't matter what other people think about, well, you're friends with that person, or it doesn't matter, because it's about my relationship with that person, not about what people think about that relationship. So that was just a little nugget right there I dropped to y'all. So maybe you can ponder and think about it, go back, go rewind, and see what you want to do with that moving forward. Okay? Also, the other is, I want you to put down your interests. And that could be in jobs, that could be interest in your community, the things you've always wanted to do. Like we talked about that book writing, you want to travel the world, whatever it is, your interests, right? Feed the homeless. You want to do something, help people who have been in despair. You know, there's so many things in life that we're called to. You know, maybe the career you're in right now, though lovely and you're successful, you've always wanted to drop it all and go do something totally different, right? Maybe I had a person, they were very successful, but just did not want to continue in what they were doing. And I'm thinking, they are crazy. They're living a life, you know? Nope. Sold everything, went to a place, where farm, acres, nowhere in sight, because that was important to them. That's where their true value system lies. That's where they thrive the most, right? Getting milk to the market, getting flowers and selling flowers on the market street, the vegetables that they had their own two hands create. See, things like that, I get excited too, right? Because one of my Holland codes is realistic, so I get excited about that too. However, that's not what moves me, what drives me. So see how you can have similar Holland codes, like we talked about in the career self-assessment, but there's something that moves you that's more meaningful based on your value system. See, your value system may be higher than someone else's value system. So all these things play, and the only one who can decide what's your career next step or your beginning career step is you. You are the only one. That's why we have to have these conversations, so you can begin to write it out, ponder, and not be in a rush. See, if you come to me in the last stage and say, I need it right now, I can help you with what you basically need right now. But in the overall of life-work balance, the overall of being satisfied in what you do moving forward, that's going to take some time. And so it's good to reach out, to get a mentor. It's really good to reach out and talk to the people in the industry. And there's a passion that comes with all of these things. And like we said, with the value system, it's meaningful, but where's your passion, right? That's going to be part of your interests, what drives you, what motivates you, what gets you up. Some people are interested in technology. They can sit for days, hours, days, months, doing the exact same thing to get a product out. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the person saying, no, that's not me. That would drive me crazy. Possibly. So that's not where your interest lies. Your interest lies maybe at a hospital in, the emergency ward, where you're driven to save lives, to assist. You may not be the doctor, but you may be a nurse, or you may be, anesthesiologist, or you may be an assistant. Everyone on that team is valuable. And if anyone is not doing what they're supposed to, they're all not successful in the end game. So think about it. Where do you fit? Where do you see yourself? That's where your interest is going to lie. That's where your value system is going to align with those interests. My neighbors are getting ready to go, to church. And I'm getting ready to prepare myself. But think about that. All these things are going to align. So the last thing I would say is also, if we're talking about work, we're talking about the community, where do your interests lie? So are your interests connected to your community? Because a lot of times people think that they're separate, and sometimes they are. Sometimes you go to work because that's the means of the income. Remember, we talk about finances, what you need to do to support your family, because that's just the reality. However, in order for you to have a sane mindset, your mental health, you do other community things that normally may not give you the finances that you need, but it gives you the self-satisfaction. It gives you the peace at heart. It gives you that passion that you need moving into what it is in the community that you do. So think about that. All those things, it plays a significant part of who you are. Okay? You're going to hear us talk about branding and all of those things as we move forward. But this is that moment that you're literally identifying your brand. Your brand is much deeper than you think. And your value system is at the core. All right, I'm Shirley Farrar, and this has been Encouragement on Fire. I'll talk to you soon.